Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I've been off YouTube for a couple of weeks because there wasn't too much content to do and I wasn't playing the game very much before the season starts, but this is season 4, the first week, and honestly I've been having a lot of fun. My main for this season, at least to start out, is still Paladins. But I've also having a lot of fun on warriors, both on tank and on DPS. This season introduces new dungeons, or I guess new old dungeons, and this is a plus 16 Junkyard. If I'm being honest, Junkyard is probably the easiest dungeon out of all of the 8 dungeons that are in this season, and this week I already did a 19, but I just didn't have anything recording of that. So we'll just look at this one. It's a key I'm really proud of. So right out of the bat, the shaman casts a root, and it's inspiring this week. So there's no way to stop it, but there isn't any frontal damage on this pull. The only thing is the frontal from the Dreadlord, which is not the end of the world. So I decided not to do anything about it and just brute force it. There's a grease spot right off the corner in the tree here. All right, that's that curse that puts a root on everyone. And this pull, there's a shock bot there. So the small ads, they don't have a threat table. So if you're ranged, stay closer to your tank and melee in this area, because otherwise you're gonna be out there by yourself, dealing with all of them. If you stay in the group, it's easier to cleave all of them down. The bully has a shockwave. It's just a frontal. And they also enrage that needs to be kicked. They start to hurt a lot on high fortified weeks. I remember I played so season 4 in BFA as I started really pushing keys. I was playing a warrior back then. That was my old main, and so I played a lot of Junkyard and workshop. And so like this week I've been doing a lot of keys, and the muscle memories are slowly coming back to me. So this week the hard mode boss is starting out in the Gunker area. So we're going to do this boss first. There's another shock bot in the cave, I believe, so one of the druids can run ahead to grab that. Alright. If you didn't know before, Protection Paladin got a buff, an armor buff at the start of the season, and I've been having a lot of fun on Protection Paladin. And it's a spec that I'm really used to, and it just provides a lot of utilities for your whole party. You have healing, you have all kinds of immunity, and it's a playstyle that I really enjoy. All right, cool. The 2 bullies in front of the boss used to hurt a lot. That used to be a really hard pull. So I'm imagining I'll have to allocate a lot of defensiveness if I'm doing a high fortified key. But at this level, they just scratch me. That headbutt, I remember that's the scary stuff, because if they cast it at the same time on you and you happen to not have your defensive up, it's gonna hurt really bad. But in BFA I was playing prot warrior, so I've always had shield blocked, so that was a little better. Alright, so now we're starting off with the King Gobblemak. So you can see there's 4 like lightning stations around the map, and then there's also a robot on the ground. So he's gonna do a ground smash that everyone, like this one, everyone needs to soak, and when you soak it, you become charged. So you go over to one of the pillars and the robot to charge it. You see someone running to the back, and then they will take care of the ads for you. So this is primarily a single target fight. Like damage on the ads doesn't matter at all. You can see our demo lock is popping off. A lot of burst damage. Huge tyrant. Alright, here's another smash. Alright, and I'm running over to the robot. Alright, on high tyrannical keys, this boss is really hard because rumble. It's a lot of unavoidable party damage, and if your damage is not enough, eventually you will bleed your healer dry, and they run out of cooldowns, and it'll just fall over from that. So I'd imagine on high tyrannical keys, this boss needs a lot of coordinated cooldowns. Alright, so after this, I think we're heading back to the start. I was worried about resetting the boss there because that's how he was dying. Alright, we're heading back to the start to go to the Gunker area. We don't need anything from here anymore. So there are 2 shock bots that we can get, but they all require to pull a mob. So there's one to the left and there's one to the right on this platform. So I was telling one of the druids to grab the one on the left so we don't pull that the left scrap bot on the top. And then I can just, oh, maybe I did. I still grabbed that. And then I'll grab this one. And then I'll head down and then do this too with, they just take forever to catch up to you. But I'll just do this with the 3 mobs at the gate. If it's not inspired, I'll probably pull in the 2 robots on the right side of the platform too, just to make it more efficient. And this normalizer is the one that you want to keep an eye on and CC or kick, because either cast shrink or enlarge. If it casts shrink on your party member, they become like a critter. They do no damage, and if you step on them, you kill them. So that's no good. And enlarge buffs one of the enemies but that's spell stealable. In season 4, there's a fire mage tech that they just keep this renormalizer alive and then steal his enlarge, and they do crazy high keys with that. Alright, this monstrosity does consume and just run out. If you happen to eat like 1 tick, you can you can cleanse toxin to remove it, but I think it only removes one stack. Same as elementals, the little bolt from it, and the lurker casts I think a chain stun, and that can be instantly removed from this suffocating, and that can be instantly removed from cleanse toxin too. So as a paladin, I have a lot of tools to help my party in this area. Alright, so we're grabbing this, the lurker, and probably the monstrosity too. Oh, maybe not. There's another shock bot and the grease bot here. So if you didn't know before, shock bots makes your attack have a chance to zap your enemy, and it scales with key level. So in higher keys, this is mainly the way you do your damage. So in higher keys, you just need to live and let your shock bot do its thing. And so because of that, almost everyone is selecting haste bounty on this at the start for this key, because haste just scale with shockbot a lot. I think greasebot gives you a little haste buff, like 10% I think, and then welding bot gives you a damage reduction, so that's pretty good for tanks. Protection Paladin is doing, as usual, a lot of damage, but I've noticed in general tanks are doing just crazy amount of damage right now in this meta. When I'm doing DPS, there's a lot of pulls when, like, I'm just, not only me, but like most of the DPS just doing the same damage as the tank, because we don't have our cooldowns. Alright, so Junkyard, this boss, he's stationary, and this boss is actually really annoying on quaking, because you have to stand in the little sanitary bots most of the time, and you know, if a quake overlaps with like here overlaps with a phase that you need to stand in it, it's gonna be really hard. And you also need to stay close to the boss, otherwise they just melee your the whoever's closest. And there's a bug, if you used to be able to cleanse toxin the goop as well, but I can't target the cleansing bot for some sanitary bots for some reason. I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's that I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I need a macro for that. I haven't figured it out yet. But other than that, this boss is pretty easy. Avoid the swirlies. If your robot gets get scooped, just break it out, and then stay in the robot, and you'll be fine. Yeah. And this boss isn't the best for prot Paladin because you have to constantly reapply your consecration. But other than that, pretty normal and uneventful boss. Alright, so now we're 2 down. We're heading to the Trixie and Nano area, and that's a really fun boss. And the timer on Junkyard is really generous too. I think we ended up 2 chesting these. And in hierarchies, I think you skip these 2 scrap bots because they take forever to kill. They're not very efficient. It's only 2 target cleave, and you have to avoid like the gyro scrap, and you have to kite them out of the smoke. It's just not efficient. It's not very efficient on time, I guess. And I believe they don't give a lot of count. Like they give 3% count in total, so not worth. Yeah. If one of them is an imposter, a dreadlord, then maybe then it's worth. Alright, so I'm pulling everything closer to the entrance here because I don't want the blasters to jump and pull something else. I remember they used to be really annoying too, but other than that, they don't do a lot of things. They just throw something like a bomb on the ground. All right, and the crawler and mechanic. This is a pretty hard pull, or is a pretty hard pull in the future. The crawler does a lot of damage in its AoE phase right now. You can see just a lot of group healing. The mechanics has 2 things that'll kick, that needs to be kicked. That repair, just heal the robot, and then overclock gives this like a huge damage buff. So both of those need to be kicked, and they also shield bash your tank like crazy. In this pull, the mechanic is actually Zogamax. And right now, I think there's a bug where you can use your Avenger's shield to interrupt her whatchamacallit, the life siphoning thing. If you time it right, just when blood siphon, just when it goes up, just when the shield goes up. We accidentally pulled the boss here, so we're gonna run out and just reset the boss. No biggie. That's a nice grip. Alright, reset the boss. We'll kill more trash here. There's also more damage, more shock bots over here. Alright, so this scrap hounds does like a frontal on the ground. You can see those blue dots. If you get hit by them, I think it silences you. I can't exactly remember, but it's a frontal that you need to avoid. Other than that, they just chomps your tank. And same thing here, mechanic needs to be kicked. So you can see I'm have it set as my focus target and just keep it almost perma silenced. Alright, so now we're ready for the boss. Ideally, you want both of them to die at the same time or relatively close to each other. The man will getting his vehicle in charge, and it'll leave a smoke area in the ground. So Trixie will cast like a super version of the like mega taste. So whoever is targeted by that needs to go into the smoke bomb. And then there's also a roadkill. It's a charge, and then there's a bolt cutter. I think that's your frontal smash. So aim it away from the group and then avoid the charge. There's a lot of charges from the guy in this boss. But ideally, I think there's a spot or you can just tank the boss and I think you avoid the charge or something. I can't remember, but I remember there's some tech like that. I'll go back and rewatch some videos to brush up on it. Other than that, you want to pump a lot of damage into the husband when he's out of his vehicle. Otherwise, the woman's gonna be dying first. Ooh. Unlucky. Well, the good thing is we have plenty of bots over here, so no worries at all. And so we have just a little bit of trash left, and we can do the last boss. And plenty of time as long as we don't die. This is a dungeon that you really want to avoid dying, because if you die, you lose your robots, and you have to spend time to get more. And then you might end up missing one or two in your party, and that's a lot. That's a lot of damage loss. All right, he's back. We can move forward. All right, so we're heading to the right here. There's invisible cats in that area with the robot is, so that's something you want to avoid. So we're heading up here. This is where we used to do the polls in season 4. There was a skip because there was another mini boss here. So this poll looks big. It's actually not that bad. There's a normalizer that you need to kick, and then coil bearer that needs to be kicked once, and then that's pretty much it. So you can see the shrink is on my druid right now, so either you need to wait it out or you need to get dispelled. If this wasn't an inspiring week, I'll pull everything in from that and just have someone else watch this renormalizer. It's a bit hard to do this when all the marking isn't updated yet, and not everyone knows thoroughly how to do this dungeon. This poll is pretty hard on the high fortified weeks. Renormalizer needs to be kicked. The cavalry does a charge and then immediately spins around with the rapid fire, and if you're not careful, it's a one shot in higher keys. And I think it's gonna see. And it's gonna pull into the next pack as well. So it's a bit hectic. So I think what I should have done is pull this pack all the way up there, so that when the cavalry charges, he doesn't charge into the patrolling pack. So that's something I'll start doing. And it always charges towards whoever's the furthest person. So if you bait the charge into the boss room, I think we'll be fine there. I just didn't think about that. But we're still doing really good on time, so as long as we don't make any more mistakes. And there's more robots here, and in the junkyard, in the second boss in the area. That might have been it. Ooh, he's gonna pull the cats. Or he actually will melt it off. Alright, so we'll on to the last boss. This boss is deceptively hard on tyrannical keys because the tank buster busts your tank a lot, and Rack does a lot of damage. You know, the longer the fight goes on, and eventually you run out of defensives. So you wanna kill this boss as fast as possible, and then druids are actually very, very good on this fight because they can mass root the little robots that walks around, and that makes it easier for a lot of people. And that dot that he applies also hurt a lot, so it's a lot of pressure on your healer too, because your healer needs to make sure he's topping off the tank, and also needs to heal whoever's got the dot on him. Alright, this phase. As a paladin, you can just cavalier, divine steed, and then bubble. So they'll negate everything. Alright, and you can left click on the little tower to see the progress. It's that little blue bar underneath the frame. Alright, so if you're playing a DPS, when you see it gets to like 20-15%, you can go ahead and you know, just go down with by stepping into one of the robots. That'll port you back to the start, and you get a head start, and you know, tank will stay up and finish the last bit of count. So we're lusting here and then popping everything. Ideally, you know, if you're doing everything correctly, you should be able to one face this boss like we are here. Here's where that shot bot comes in, and easy peasy. We have a lot of time left, and ooh, very, very good ring. It's a very good DPS ring. All right, well, that's the key, and you know, very, very fun. I'm definitely having a lot of fun this season. So hopefully I'll have a lot more content here on YouTube in the future, and if you like this video, you know, leave me a comment of. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that I could have done better. I'm just, you know, learning or relearning the dungeon. And if you have suggestions, you know, leave it in the comments. And thank you guys for watching. Bye.